What's up, Blue Collar Millionaires? I got Chris Rembolt here today. He knows a ton about artificial intelligence. He was my insurance agent. He was an entrepreneur. He'll talk about that journey, how he set that up, how he walked away from that to start this new startup with artificial intelligence. He's teaching young kids and how it all goes together with his own homeschooling and why he believes in that. Chris, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. I've been excited for this all week.
Chris, tell me, let's start at the beginning. You were homeschooled, and then how did that become were you an entrepreneur your whole life?
All right, so I'll give you all the short version. My parents homeschooled me, grades K through 12, so the whole time. And I didn't necessarily want to be homeschooled all the time that I was homeschooled. I wanted to hang out with other kids a little bit more than I was able to, but that's an easy problem to fix. But for the most part, I enjoyed it because I could read books, I could be very curious, I could go outside, I could explore, I could just dive deep into subjects, not be way too structured and scheduled. And that ended up preserving my creativity. One thing that the education system is designed to do is create standardized humans so that they can fit into standardized roles that create the economy that we enjoy here. And it's a little bit overplanned, in my opinion. I think that kind of robs us of our potential a little bit. And so I'm very glad that I didn't go through the standard course for things. And It's not like your creativity is gone forever if that's you. Like most people were not homeschooled. It's not like, oh, you're not a creative person now. That's not the case. Creativity is something that is it is like a plant. You can plant seeds for it, and you can grow it, and you can nurture it. But starting off with a high baseline is a little easier. So ended up going to college. The bar seemed like was really low there. I went to MTSU, which is Middle Tennessee State University, got an aerospace degree there. And I think until the last year of school, I didn't miss a single class at all. So I was like, why would I miss class? I'm paying to be here. I need to do a good job.
Any different.
I'm supposed to learn. Graduated with, I think, a 3.66 or something like that. And went into corporate. And then in the corporate world, it seemed like the bar was low there too. And got bonuses, got company-wide awards. I was in inside sales in a company in Nashville. And we sent Excel spreadsheet formatted quotes to renew warranties on sleepy stuff, but easy to just crush that work. And then in 2015, I got fired because I was an expensive employee and I liked to color outside the lines and get stuff done and not do make work assignments. And frankly, I probably could have used some personal development back then too. But 2015 just jumped right into insurance. And I was unemployed for 10 days and got my first commission check from insurance, I think about 25 days after I started. It was pretty fast. And that field has a 97% failure rate. So 3% of people are left after year one. So I was in that until the beginning of this year.
What made you leave the insurance? You were doing really well.
Yes, and was an expert in it. But frankly, I feel that artificial intelligence is like the internet in the 1990s and the smartphone in 2008. And I've always been a techie guy. I have always been writing little bits of code and like hacking my video games and trying to make my computers do things they weren't designed to do. And I love technology. I just love it. And that's like the stuff that I study, the heroes that I have, Jobs and Musk, and the people that started Silicon Valley and made it the powerhouse that it is today. Just that attracts me like crazy. So I wanted to get involved. And we are having a like an iPhone moment right now with AI. Like this is the original iPhone. Like this was the 2007 device that Steve Jobs took up on stage, and this is the 2014 iPhone. Right there's a big difference between these two technologies, and that was 2008 until 2023. So that's like 15 years or so, and AI is not going to take that long. It's going to it's going to go crazy within about 3 years. The things that hold it back are the production cycles for the GPUs and the coding cycles for the open source community that make those GPUs more efficient.
So you're also studying, not, I mean, you have to be if you're studying AI. Are you constantly like every day finding new ways that you could use it because
Yeah,
you're an
yeah.
entrepreneur to make money or help companies or help people?
Yes, yes. Hi, Chris. I'm Chris.
Hey, Chris.
So
Chris is at
yeah,
the airport today, so he's going on
yeah,
a mastermind
yes.
trip. What
Sweet.
kind of, yeah, what makes you, what kind of stuff are you studying? Like most people will go into just mess around on Chat GPT. That's their first kind of initial thing. That was mine, and it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, we're still figuring out the edges of what that thing can do. My wife is also an entrepreneur, and um, she does like automations for creators online. She builds. She sometimes build a website, but it's more about building the software stack that will get that creator's message out to their people, right? And she uses ChatGPT every day to brainstorm about branding, to brainstorm about automation, to look at business strategy, to come up with names for things, to build structures for newsletters, to create plans, to create outlines. She uses the absolute hell out of it. And she impresses me with what she's able to learn on AI. But yes, I have been using ChatGPT, Midjourney, which is an image generator. I've been using 11 Labs, which is a voice generator. Um, I've been finding out what's possible with these. And also there's open source voice to text transcriber too. So I'm looking for workflows that can make me more efficient in what I do so that I spend less time creating material and more time um, thinking about what the best material is to
Mhm.
create, like doing the thinking cycles instead of just the building cycles.
What are some ways that service companies, blue collar companies, what's like one thing where you say, I don't really see people doing this. This would be a big advantage. And then kind of how would somebody go about that?
Oh, that's a deep question right
I
there.
mean, there's a lot to it. Just maybe one example. I can think of some, and I'm sure you have one.
So there's so many paperworks and forms that go into like compliance for things. For example, I have a friend who has a cell phone tower servicing company. I went on an adventure with him early this year. He had like 30 cell towers to service, and he was just looking for somebody to help him out because his crew was down in Texas. He was like, "Dude, this place is going to be. We're going to be in some scenic places. You're going to have some fun. We're going to go on a bros trip." So it was a friend from college. I was like, okay, I'll come help you out. And there is a lot of compliance paperwork in that business. You have to you have to prep. He spent a lot of time in the truck just prepping things for the site, and then we would go in and do whatever we were going to do and then leave. And it seemed like the prep work, both at the hotel and in the field, just like took a lot of time. And I was just thinking, man, oh, I just wish we could use AI for this because it's literally like if you could just grab a GPS coordinate and know what the data is from that site, just plug it into this form and just like review it and make sure it looks right. And that's all you have to do. That would be amazing. So it's about data ingestion, putting it into custom forms and even handwritten data. This can be done. And
Yeah.
then preparing that for submission to the to whatever governing body or company that you have to submit that paperwork to.
How does the handwritten data so it can read it and then just fill in the forms?
It's not ChatGPT yet, but there are other artificial intelligence companies out there that have built custom form reading and building software where all you do is scan it in, and you can scan it with your phone, and it knows even though you have a custom form, you, you can pre-build that form as a template, and if you're going to have like dozens or hundreds of those forms, then it knows to pull the data off of those specific boxes or those areas of the form and then plug it in digitally into the digital version.
Mhm.
But it uses OCR, optical character recognition.
How hard do you think it is to learn artificial intelligence on a low level? where it helps you, it saves you time, it makes you some money, but you're not an expert like you. You're not studying it all the time. Do you think that's reasonable for service business owner, blue collar guy who says, "Hey, I'm going to do it for 30 minutes a day. I want to learn about this and save myself a ton of time."
Guys, learning it used to be terrible. Like I had to like go through this book just to demonstrate how different this question is just in the past year. So this was how you learned AI. You did deep learning with Python, and it's a great book. Nothing wrong with it, but it is a lot of writing code. It is a lot of understanding how it works. There's literally algebra in there and matrix multiplication and all kinds of stuff that it's dense. Now, instead of like that says deep learning with Python, right? Python's computer code. Now, instead of Python, it's deep learning with English. So you can go and learn how to use AI and you can have it teach you what it's capable of. So you can go into ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to learn how to do this specific thing. And it can even be AI related. I have some prompts that I saved, and prompts are just things you put in the box to make it do things. And you can say, I want to learn how to use ChatGPT in a business that specializes in tree removal or gutters or whatever. And you can ask ChatGPT, what are some things that would be helpful for AI to use AI in this business? And it will come up with things that even you in the business yourself will not have thought of. So between you and the large language model, you'll be able to come up with ways to integrate it in ways that save you time, make you more money, and even give you ideas to do things with your business that maybe you hadn't even thought of before. It's a perfect brainstorming partner.
It's incredible because the reason I asked that question because I knew the answer, because I thought it was hard and daunting in the beginning, but now I just mess around. Sometimes I'll watch a YouTube video. How can I help service businesses with ChatGPT? I mess around on ChatGPT, Bard. I look at different type of AIs and stuff. It's incredible. It's not hard to do. And what it'll give is gives you so many ideas. It's crazy that you can ask it for ideas on for it to help you.
Yes.
It's
One of the fun things you can do is say, give me 10 mind-blowing prompts. And then it will give you 10 things that if you send that prompt to the AI, it will do cool stuff. And you can just keep doing it.
What are some, because everybody thinks ChatGPT, what are some other artificial intelligence that you're using that you find just incredible?
Well, one thing that I really enjoy is Midjourney. Midjourney is a really incredible image generator, and you can create marketing ready images with it. In fact, not most, but probably about half of the YouTube thumbnails that I see these days are actually created in Midjourney. And it's probably because of just kind of my focus on AI, but I'm seeing it go into other areas too. You can make things that look like a photograph. You can customize what's in it. You can make marketing images with Midjourney. In fact, I have a friend who has a online marketing business, and he has to like generate images for his clients to run on social media. And so he normally just uses stock images. He was like, "Hey, bro, tell me about this AI thing. I need to have a good image for a plant replacement company, because I'm sure in Georgia y'all got this too, where there was a hard freeze and it killed a bunch of plants, and so they're advertising." So I created this series of images that I was like, "Hey, which one of these looks best?" And it took like 10 minutes, and he was like, "This one, let's do variations of this one," and we did. And the ad ended up looking way better than his original one that was a stock image. So that's one thing, is images. Voice creation too is cool.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about voice creation because I want to tell people. So I got a friend of mine sent me a voice text on Messenger on Facebook. I was listening to him. I was wondering why he sent me one, because he had never sent me one before. And then at the end, he says, "Oh, by the way, this is not me. This is artificial intelligence." It blew my mind because it was identical to his voice. So then he showed me what he did. There's so many ways to use that. One way I was thinking of is, I didn't do it yet, but taping my voice. You could call customers and send them ringless voicemails with your voice, saying, "Hey, spring season's up here, coming up again. Want to make sure you're on our loan service route. Hope everything's well." You could create all kinds of voice texts and then have ringless just send them out automatically. Can you imagine how much if you had 1,000 customers?
And you could A/B test it too.
What's that?
You could split test it where you send one group one
Okay.
composition and another group another, and whatever one works best, you then iterate off of that one and improve from there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it is. Ringless is a good idea.
What are
I
you
think
using it
that
for?
creating social media short form video, like when the lawn crew is outside and it's making a lot of noise, or when like it's just busy here, like somebody's doing chores or something. I don't. I kind of like to have decent audio in my stuff, so I'll just type something into 11 Labs, which is the voice generator, and just make the voice track right there. Because I cloned my voice in that. It took about probably 30 minutes of work and 5 minutes of audio. Actually, probably less than that.
And it sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like me. It's not very good at accents, so like I'll upload like Winston Churchill on there, and it totally removes his accent, which just makes him sound like an old timey voice. But it's very good at voice tonality.
One thing my buddy does on social media, he'll post videos of him doing something, and that that you can have the voiceover. It's the AI voiceover, so he doesn't have to sit there and mess up or whatever. He doesn't like how it sounds. It's really, the tonality is really good about it.
Some of my most popular stuff has been done like that.
Yeah, there's so many uses. What are you doing with drones as well? Because I know you're big into drones. Are you doing a business with that?
Man, I had a drone business there for a minute, but I looked into what it would look like if it scaled, and it just seemed like the kind of work that I did not want to be involved in long term. So that was something I tried, and I have shut down. But I still fly my drone all the time, just for fun.
Yeah, I see you going after the weather balloons. Cool stuff.
Yes.
Tell us about your academy you've started and what you're teaching and who you're teaching it to and how people can get involved. I think it's really cool.
So yeah, I've been studying AI since 2018, and it's just been like, well, how do I apply this? I could start a company, but then I'd have to run a company. I'm a solopreneur type. I want to have freedom of time. I want to have some flexibility in how I run my business. So I was like, how can I do this with AI? And it's not something that everybody else is doing. And it became a question not just of how do I want to start a business and what's a viable niche. It became also, well, who should I empower with this stuff? Because AI is super powerful. I don't know. I want to kind of have a good impact on the world. I don't want to be putting something out there that will eventually cause harm just because I know it's a business that I can run.
Yeah.
So I have, you can't see it from here, but I have like all these like Eastern books up here, like Buddhism and Hinduism. And it's all about like, don't do any harm, get to know yourself, that kind of stuff. So I figured I wanted to empower people that have some wisdom and who I kind of already believe in being a good force in the world. And so I thought back to my homeschool days and was just like, well, who's homeschooling now? And I looked up the trends, and like there's twice as many kids in homeschooling right now as when I graduated in 2005. My friends were texting me saying, hey, did you find homeschooling was good for you? Do you think that's like good for kids? It seems like you turned out all right, but is that normal? It's like, yes, homeschooling's awesome. If you can do it, it's great. And so I just kept getting these messages of, you should go to homeschoolers. You should go talk to homeschoolers. I was like, all right, I'll do it. And so I made some free courses. I made a course about how to use AI for creativity and learning and entrepreneurship. I created that for homeschoolers. And my goodness, it has, my TikTok channel for this project has gone crazy. So, it is about teaching homeschoolers how to use AI for what they're already doing. It's about empowering them to do things that it's kind of a pain without AI. Even just your regular homeschool stuff, like creating a course outline or finding a strategic way to study something or explaining something from an expert perspective that you're stuck on, but also doing cool stuff like creating books or making art or whatever you want to do with homeschooling. We have had so much fun. I've done some live classes with them. I've done some pre-recorded things, and there's just so much interest in it, even here in the summer, which is crazy because most homeschoolers take the summer off, just like most people in school. So I've been amazed at how positive the reaction has been to it and how much fun I have had building it.
I mean,
Hey,
go ahead, Chris.
Yes,
Chris. So, and y'all might have went over this before I jumped on, but how would you recommend someone get exposure and kind of get started so that they can start leveraging AI with their service-based business?
Get ChatGPT Plus. It's $20 a month, and it gives you access to GPT-4. GPT-4 has an insane level of intelligence, and you can come to it and say, "Hey, so I have this business. I have this business where I clean gutters, and here's where I live. Here are some of the parameters of my business, and here are the current things that I'm doing for this business to help it grow. What are some things that I can do to incorporate AI, and what are some things I can do to just think outside the box and things that don't even involve AI?" So what I would recommend is just using ChatGPT as a brainstorming partner and almost as like a co-founder. So the way that it works is they took the entire internet and they ran it through a huge pile of numbers that represent neurons in a brain. And when the data from the internet flowed through this huge pile of numbers, it changed the structure of them, and it now reacts much like a human brain. And so when you type something to ChatGPT, that message goes into it, and it goes down its idea paths just like someone hearing something. It thinks about it, and it says things to you that it's based on its data. This is not something that we thought computers would be able to do, but it turns out that with enough powerful GPUs and enough training data, it does work. So that's why we're seeing this renaissance in AI. So using that in your business, it's about just going in there and talking to it. It's a hyper intelligent thing that's been trained on data that would take you many, many lifetimes to absorb yourself.
So you can really speak to it, because that was one thing I didn't get in the beginning. Like I thought I had to have it perfect. You can really speak to it like I'm talking to you. Hey, I'm looking to do this. Yeah, and like that's when I figured that out, I was like, wow, this is freaking incredible.
Yeah.
It's like talking to the smartest person you ever met.
And you can even have it like talk to you like anybody you want. Like you can say, please use the persona of Steve Jobs, or please talk to me like a pirate, or whatever you want to do. And it's capable of it. It's insane. And you can tell it what your knowledge level is in something. So it can talk at the high level, or you can say, I'm not very knowledgeable in this. Please use basic language with this. Yeah.
So what could we do? Kind of could we try something right now? Like I have a roofing business I bought. Can you ask a prompt similar to you just did with the gutter, and we'll say, I don't know, let's try something. Maybe you try it out and we'll see how it works.
Okay, what do you want to do with your roofing business? What's one thing that you'd like to do?
I want to figure out
the hardest part right here.
Yeah, I want to get.
You want monthly reoccurring revenue, Kevin.
Yeah.
So how could you create monthly reoccurring revenue in your roofing business?
On commercial accounts, I'm okay with it being residential. Yeah, that's pretty much the question. How would I go about that? And as detailed as you want to get, but that's pretty much what I'm looking. How do I reach out to them? How do I contact them? And then how do I make that offer?
Sure. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Sweet. So share screen, and we will select this tab here, my ChatGPT tab. So I was doing research here on Tesla financials earlier. All right, so we're going to start a new chat. We're going to go to GPT-4, And we're going to enable browsing, which is something new, by the way, for Plus users. You can actually have it connect to the live internet. And the way you do that, if you're a Plus member, is you just click on your name here, you click settings, go to beta features, and then you turn on browse with Bing. And what that does is allow access to the live internet instead of just the cutoff of 2021, which is what it normally has. So we're going to say, I have a roofing company and I want to brainstorm ways to. Do you have a roofing servicing company? Do you do like maintenance, or is it
Yeah, we do repairs, installs, we'll do maintenance, inspections. So we could do any of those things.
so I'm going to leave a few typos in here just to demonstrate that it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I want to brainstorm ways to create a strong monthly recurring revenue. We'll just ask this of it. It's saying, yeah, this will make your life easier if you do this. And so it's coming up with ideas here. Looks like a couple of subscriptions, maintenance, inspection, preferred customer plans. And what we're going to do is we're going to let it finish, and then we're going to have it elaborate on something. So this is one habit of using GPT that I have really started to find useful. And that's when it makes a list of things, and you can encourage it to do list type behavior like this just by the way you ask something. When it makes a list of things, you can then ask it to elaborate on any specific point.
So it
let's
came up
say,
with 8 of them.
yes. So which one of these looks most interesting to you?
Let's do the number 1, the maintenance subscription. Offer a monthly maintenance package to customers. These include regular roof inspections, gutter cleaning, minor repairs. That's the one I'm already instituting. That's a great one.
Cool.
So
How would I go about building this option and selling it to my customers?
So, Chris, I'm gonna read it in case I can't see it. He
Okay.
put, let's explore option number 1. How would I go about building this option and selling it to my customers?
So let's see what it says. And it knows that we're talking about the maintenance subscription service, and it's giving us steps for what we need to do here. And GPT-4, by the way, it types a little slower than 3.5. So there's a little bit more patience needed with it just because 3.5 will finish in like 2 seconds. But 4 is so much more intelligent. So it's worth the wait. So it's giving us this step by step here to do the monthly maintenance subscription service. It says, 1, define the scope of the service. So you need to figure out what exactly you're going to do when you do this service, because it's going to make a big difference on how you actually incorporate this in your business. And then pricing, and then service agreement, marketing and sales, customer service, implementation and scheduling, monitor and iterate. And that's the last step, number 7. So which of these steps would we like?
We could take one of these steps and say, elaborate on the marketing and sales.
Yeah. Let's have it do some research. We have browsing enabled. So let's do some research on number 2, specifically for the Nashville TN market, because that's where I live. Now it says browsing the web. And so you can click this drop down and watch exactly what it's doing. It's doing an internet search for roof maintenance service costs, Nashville, Tennessee, just like you might do yourself.
Yep.
And then it'll click on links, it will think. And sometimes the browsing does good things and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you have to ask again, but it's definitely something that enables you to multitask, right? So you're able to have it be doing this research, and it might take 2 or 3 minutes, and then you can go to whatever other tab on your computer where you're doing other work and come back and look at the research it does. It's like having a super fast employee that never gets tired, never calls out sick. It's available at 2 a.m. And in some ways, in most ways, it's extremely intelligent. So one thing that I like to do is use GPT to come up with opportunity. And that's the way I do it is I say, hey, here's this niche that I want to look into. Like, for example, artificial intelligence education for homeschoolers. Go find who else is doing this or something similar and tell me what I need to know about it. And it will come back and tell me that. But our project here for the roofing, it's giving us actual numbers here. So it says the cost for roof maintenance services in Nashville ranges from a minimum of $189 to a maximum of $1,417, which is an average cost of $781. These costs include labor, materials, equipment. Costs, it keeps going on to this. It talks about roof lifespans in Nashville, types of roofs, like standing seam metal roof, cedar shake roofs. It talks about this stuff. And then it kind of gives you all this data to help you understand what should go into pricing your maintenance services. And some of this information may be relevant, some of it may not be to what you're doing, but you can then tell it what's the relevant stuff and it will tell you more.
So when you see relevant stuff, you say, give me more like this, or how would you do that?
Yes, I'm like, hey, let's drill down on the, let's say, for example, if I was working on this, let's drill down on the regular maintenance aspect of this. I want to expand the lifespan of the roofs and make it about preventing repairs. Let's talk about that. I want to be the person that offers that in Nashville. So how would we go about that? And what are some things I need to consider that I might not have thought of? And it will tell me.
You could just go deeper and deeper.
Yes. So we started out at the very top here. We said, I have a roofing repair, install, maintenance, and inspection company. I want to brainstorm ways to create a strong monthly recurring revenue. And we could have even started above this if we had not already thought of the monthly recurring revenue. Let's say that maybe we're not an experienced entrepreneur. We might have said, I have a roofing company. I just started running it. What are some ways that I can increase its sales, increase its revenue? And it would have said, offer a monthly recurring revenue option. Mm-hmm. That would have been one of the things.
You know, Chris, you probably like masterminds. I know Chris and I are big on masterminds. He's headed to one. It's almost like having a mastermind at your finger. You got like the smartest person ever. He's just giving you every idea. And you could never find a human to do that. It's like having 100 of them in there and they're all like, oh, you should do the monthly recurring. This is how I did it.
Yeah. I don't know if you've read Think and Grow Rich, but in it, Napoleon Hill talks about having the mastermind, and the mastermind is the group of people that are your heroes. And he has his list of people and thinking about what they would tell you. Now we literally have that in real life. He would have loved this.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so limited. Chris, you're doing the teaching. Are you doing this as a service for companies? Like, I'm sure you helped your wife and she sounds super knowledgeable about it, but do you do that for companies to give them a huge advantage?
Yeah, that's on a contact only basis. I will consult, and I have done it before, and I've had some great results for my customers. My business where I'm teaching homeschoolers is just the thing I work on every single day, right? Those are a la carte things where I come in and consult for you. So if you want that from me, definitely contact me and we'll find out if there's something I can do for you. Because I love this stuff.
I'd like to do it with you. And Chris Garrison knows, I always say, this is how I know if a good idea. If my competitor was hiring Chris Rembolt and had him, and he was spending hours every week trying to work AI on his business, would I be worried? I would be really fucking worried. I would not like that at all. I would absolutely go get somebody to combat that.
That's why I wanted to empower good people.
I'm a gutter company. I don't know this, but I feel very confident that 99% of the people are not using it, and they're definitely not hiring an expert to help them along. Chris, right. How many renovation companies in Mississippi are doing that? Zero?
No,
I would say probably not. Oh, sorry, other Chris.
Yeah.
I just realized that I'm going to have to upgrade mine to ChatGPT Plus, because I don't have the Plus version. And I was asking Kevin the other day because he was giving me lists of air duct cleaning companies in my area. And I said, how are you getting this prompt to respond? He said, I don't know. Are you free or are you paying something? I think I'm paying $20 a month. I said, mine's free. I don't even know how to pay. So this interview by itself, just knowing I needed to get the Plus version. Yeah, no doubt, man.
$20
changed my life. Yeah.
Chris was looking to possibly buy a duct cleaning company to bolt on to his renovation company. So I just went on ChatGPT. I said, give me a list of 100 with in a spreadsheet of their name, the contact name, the email, the phone number. I had it like this. I mean, it's incredible.
What? That's awesome.
How could you lose? You call 100 of those, you'd be bolting one of them on your business.
So where's the limitations at? Because what I think would be probably the biggest benefit is being able to ask it to pull data. So like a feasibility report. If I wanted to know, so my biggest business is a disaster cleanup business. If I wanted to know how many insurance claims that are water related in my area, would it be able to pull that so that I could project the possibility of growth for the business in the future, or does it find limitations when it pulls data like that?
It's actually pretty good at that. It's especially, I do it for financial research. Like if I'm researching a company, I'll have it research the corporate and the SEC filings and things like that. It's really good at going into like big documents full of data and finding it for you. And there's even, I don't even have this yet, but there's something called, I should have it actually in a week or two, but it's called Code Interpreter, where you can actually upload data that you have and ask it to look for information in that data. But in that example, you have to actually have the data on hand. With it as it is very good at going online and finding data sources and parsing that data and coming back to you. I would recommend once you do that research, double checking some of the more important points of it, because sometimes it might have found a link that wasn't that useful and it just made that one of the pillars of its research. So this is an excellent researching tool, and it can find exactly the numbers that you want to find, but sometimes you'll want to verify, well, is this true about this specific thing? It will do all the legwork for you, but sometimes you want to check that result. I haven't ever found one where it's wrong about that, but I just want to say there should be a level of trust here, just like there would be a level of trust with an employee. But yeah, you can have it do that research. Now I'm curious.
A great thing is, here's the thing, and I haven't used it yet, although I've written multiple articles, I haven't. I wanted to start using, if you write a newsletter for your customers, or if you want to do posts on LinkedIn. So I hired a guy who was really successful on LinkedIn. He was like, you need to be writing articles to property managers about everything gutters. And I'll tell you, I was like, that sounds like the most boring thing ever. But you could get ChatGPT or Bard or everything to write an article, and then you can go in there and change it around a little bit and stuff. But I love doing it for a lot of things because it gives me like an outline and really then helps me get through. We all know that when we wrote papers in school, once you got that outline, it was much easier to do. But that was the hard part. You can get it to basically not only write you an outline, write you the article, and then you can go in there and make it your own.
Yeah, and you can ask it to do it in a specific style. If there's like a style that you want, if you want it to sound like a specific blog outlet, or if you want it to sound like specific author style, you can do that too, and you can ask it to. But you can either have it create an outline for you for your article, or you can give it information that you already have, that here's some things that I know about this business. I'm working on writing an article. Please draft an article about these things that I've just told you. Like, you can put in a big chunk into there. You can put in a lot into the prompt window. You can say, here's this data that I have, and let's write an article about it. It should be about a 8-minute read or less, and it's going onto my Substack or something like that. Which, by the way, Substack's awesome. It's a place to post those kind of things.
So you could write an article and then say, make it kind of like a style of this author or this thing. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty crazy.
I'm going to think about that. That makes me want to do
your creativity, man. That's the only limit here.
I mean, this is endless.
What other questions should we be asking you, Chris?
Yeah. Let's talk about the future of AI. So one thing that is going to change is that we're going to have these assistants that live inside of our computers and inside of our phones. and they're going to be able to do general purpose things for us. So we can tell it, hey, take a look at my schedule. Here's the things I need to do today. Please prepare me for this, this, and this. And it will actually go and research for you, and it will bring you back what you need to know, and it will brief you on stuff you should know before you go into different meetings or whatever. So, or it'll be able to do research for you for your business. It will know that, hey, you run a roofing company and you should probably be looking for these things during the day, just every single day, doing this kind of research every single day. So that's the future. It's not here yet. We have to do that manually now with ChatGPT, but things that are incredibly intelligent assistants are coming, and they'll be context-based. And then the other thing that's going to happen with AI is it's going to get embodied. And what I mean by that is it will live in the real world in the form of robots. And when there are robots in the real world, you're going to be able to literally train it to do things that require a person right now. So it'll be able to work on an assembly line. It'll be able to do roofing. It'll be able to do painting. It'll be able to do all kinds of maintenance work. And Tesla's building it right now. It's called the Optimus. That's their version. And the Tesla Optimus is supposed to cost about $25,000 or so. And it'll be able to do maintenance on itself. It will just need to recharge every once in a while. So it's like the cost of electricity for this tireless employee that you can train to do all kinds of things. So what I would recommend is thinking about that and how that's coming probably in the 2027 to 2030 time window, and being ready to invest in that area of growth, because you'll be able to if you have a business where somebody, and in this case a robot, can work around the clock and provide a service, then it's going to be like, well, what does this thing cost me a month? $300 or $400 for the payment for this robot? It can make like $3,000 working for me. And how do I make more work for this thing?
That is one thing I think about. So how far do you think till robots can paint or do some type of like manual labor, like, but not super basic, not on an assembly line where they're set, where they can actually.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be in the messy real world, right? That's
Like
the only way these
roofing
things
would
will
be
work.
hard. How far off do you think that is?
2027 to 2030.
That's incredible.
I drive their full self-driving in my car. I have a Model X, and it has their beta version of their software, so their most up-to-date one that's not public. And it is very, 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 very good. And it operates in the messy real world. And that's the model they're using for the robots. So it's able to drive me around town and stop at stop signs, avoid pedestrians, go around bicycles, go around the UPS truck in a safe way. It's very, very good, this architecture they made. And that's the one they're going to use for robots.
What do you think a robot, like a roofing robot, will cost? Is it going to come out?
It'll be $25K or so.
That's an insane, that's crazy. You would think it would be much more. So a company that sees that coming and says, hey, I'm going to grab up like 4 of these things. I have so much work coming in. They're going to be, like I was saying, they're going to be a nightmare for their competition.
Dude, the world is going to change. The world is going to change in a huge level by 2030. I'm very excited for it.
I'm excited about that. Chris, thanks so much for coming on. Today was so informative. I got so many questions. I want to talk to you about how you can help Blue Collar Millionaire with AI, my roofing business, my gutter business. So I'm going to reach out to you. I'd love to hire you, consult with you. I think this is incredible. I would not want somebody else doing that.
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I mean, that's why I'm spending it. But what's the best use of my time? I'm so interested. I love learning this and everything.
Yeah.
But I want to get somebody who's up to speed, who can get me. It's essentially
empower
the
you.
Thing is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to be empowered with this stuff. But thank you so much for having me on. I love talking about this stuff. Like, I could do it all day. And that's why I'm doing the homeschool thing. Is kids are a captive audience, and I can do it all day. I can talk to them about AI all day.
Chris, let us know how to find you, and then can you go in? You put in the comments, put your all the stuff you want, so everybody can reach you. But I don't know what the best way is. Is it Instagram or is it Facebook?
Facebook's the best way, but I am also on Instagram. I'm looking for the place to chat with everyone in the studio. The comments are from Facebook. That's why I can't get in there. But there is a post that has this live in it, right, in your group.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I will
Yeah,
go in there and put my
you
contact
can put it in the
info.
comments, or if you have
Yeah.
any issue, just shoot it over to me in Messenger, and I'll edit it and I'll put it in on the top of the post.
Mhm.
I think you're going to
Yeah.
get a lot of people messaging you. We
I'd
got
love
a
to
lot
help.
of interaction today. People are so. I mean, who doesn't want to learn about this? It's a huge advantage.
Yeah,
and
it's like
super
doubling
cool.
your output or more. It's like
Yeah.
having a staff of 20 people. It's so crazy.
Chris, you're going to have renovation. You're going to have robots dealing with mold and
I know.
bring your workers' comps down to zero.
I know. And they'll be able to do dangerous and boring and repetitive stuff that's hard to find or impossible to find people to do. Like your neighborhood will look gorgeous. Like if you just have one robot that goes and maintains your neighborhood, just like as a sponsorship from your business, it's going to be the most beautiful one in town because it never gets tired of picking up trash. This world is going to be awesome. But I'll put my contact info in the post for this. If you Google me, Chris Rembolt, you'll find it. Chris@chrisrembolt.com is my email. But again, I will put that in there for y'all. And homeschool project is Future Homeschool is what it's called. And it's a page and a group on Facebook and on TikTok.
I'm going to reach out to you quickly, and then we'll probably have to come back later in the year and talk about some new stuff because this moves
It's going to change so fast.
Yeah, be great.
Love y'all. Thank you so much for having me on here.
All right, talk to you soon.
Bye.